Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Sunday the 8th of April 2018 and we're providing our gold and silver weekly update for the weekend in the 6th of April. Gold rose $13 last week from $1,320 to $1,333, having hit a high of $1,347 and a low of $1,320. In sterling terms, gold finished the week at £945. That's up £3. And in euros, it closed at €1,085. That's up €13 on the week. Silver rose 2 cents, from $16.37 to $16.39, having hit a high of $16.67 and a low of $16.22. In sterling terms, it closed at £11.63. That's down 5 pence. And in euros, it closed at 13.34 euros. That's up 0.06 euros. The gold to silver ratio rose from 80.63 to 1 to 81.33 to 1. The Dow Jones closed on Friday at 23,932, down 572 points on the day and down 171 points on the week, and the NASDAQ closed at 6,915, down 161 points on the day and down 148 points on the week. Brent crude fell $2.23 from $69.34 to $67.11, and US light crude fell $2.88 from $64.94 to $62.06. The dollar index stands at 90.10. That's up 0.13 on the week. Gold initially rose last week, then fell back, then rose again, then fell back, and finally rose on Friday, primarily because of poor jobs data and further trade tensions with China, with both China and President Trump upping the ante in terms of proposed trade sanctions. This was the very thing we warned about last week, where we stated, quote, "So this coming week may very well see a continuation of gold's descent, unless any of these situations reverse, or that there is some form of major retaliation to proposed tariffs on imports," unquote. Now, there have been many critics of President Trump's announcements, and also a number claiming it's a clever negotiating tactic prior to trade talks with China, the conclusion of which we shall just have to wait and see. Stock markets, though, reacted badly on Friday, with the Dow falling more than 2%, thereby making gold a more attractive prospect short term. Equally, with the jobs data coming in at 103,000 new jobs last month against an expected 193,000, this has tempered the prospect of rising interest rates, thereby once again proving attractive for gold. What was noticeable, however, was that the previous highs were not reached, and so we have to put these gains into perspective and perhaps not be too carried away with them, as they can easily be reversed, and dramatically, should China and the United States reach an appropriate trade agreement. Once again, silver moved similarly to gold, but perhaps just a little weaker. Thus the slight rise in the gold to silver ratio. There is little at the moment going on to cause either a major rise or fall in silver prices, save political issues and the rise or fall of the US dollar, and therefore we repeat our predictions of last week, in that it is likely to remain range-bound for a while. A matter which must be borne in mind by all of us is the increasing tension with Russia. A chemical attack in Syria over this weekend has prompted harsh words from the US and around the world, and even President Trump, who has been somewhat reluctant to criticize Russia, has in recent days become more vocal. 2 weeks ago, we said be careful of John Bolton, the new National Security Advisor, who, as it happens, take his formal position with effect from tomorrow. Bolton is highly critical of Iran, and it hasn't gone unnoticed that Iran also received the mire of the president in his tweets this weekend. In other words, what we are suggesting is that we could very well see political tensions increasing, and therefore more turmoil in the equity markets, which would prove good for gold and silver prices. So the balance to weigh up is potentially successful talks with China over trade, which will deflate gold and silver, or a failure of such talks and increasing tensions with Iran and Russia, which could inflate gold and silver prices. Either way, these next 2 weeks will prove most interesting.
We hope you have found this video interesting and informative, and if so, please give it a thumb up and share it on Twitter. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe as a free member for regular email updates and offers. Our Facebook page, which is updated regularly, can be found at facebook.com/IlluminatiSilver. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice, and merely represent the personal views of its owners.